You remember State of Emergency? It's okay if you don't. It was very much a product of its time, and I mean really a product of its time. It was clearly a game meant to capitalize on the recently released GTA 3, and it was even published by Rockstar, even though it was not developed by them. It's arguable that Rockstar and GTA 3 started this whole trend of mature-focused games on the PS2, and State of Emergency is just kind of following suit. That's not to say it's entirely a cynical cash grab. It does have artistic merit, but it's very clearly trying to capitalize on the fad, and it succeeded. This game, which ordinarily would have gotten 3s, 2s, and 1s in reviews, got mostly positive reviews and was well liked by the general public, specifically because it came out after GTA 3 when everyone wanted more of this shit. State of Emergency comes in two flavors. It comes in the flavor everyone cares about, Chaos Mode, which is an arcadey mode that reminds me a lot of Crazy Taxi. You have a time limit to destroy as much shit as possible and rack up as many points as possible, and some things are worth more points depending on what the narrator tells you to do. For example, if the narrator says that blowing up cars is worth more points, it then becomes worth more points. It's a very fun arcadey game mode, and it could stand up on its own. A beat-em-up Crazy Taxi? Sure. State of Emergency is good for that. But that's not what we're playing right now. We're playing Revolution Mode, which is the game's story mode. It has over 200 missions, which is not a good thing, and it attempts to add a campaign and some kind of structure to State of Emergency's incredibly arcadey, underexplored mechanics. And Revolution Mode is really, really shitty. It's a giant slog. It's not fun to play. You have to retry missions multiple times because of the way they're laid out like incredibly frustrating puzzles. And each time you retry a mission, you have to run all the way back to the guy that gave you the mission, instead of the mission just restarting on the spot. Then you have to run all the way back to where the mission actually starts after you accept the mission, and then when you lose again, you have to run back to the guy who gave you the mission, and run back to where the mission starts again. Also, your health doesn't refill when you accept a mission. Your health is constant in Revolution Mode, and if you lose all your health, you have to reload the game, which wastes even more time, and it's not fucking fun. This isn't even quality of life shit. This is just like basic human kindness because they're not wasting anything but your time. You know? And they're not wasting your time for a good reason, like for atmosphere or game design or anything like that. I think they just wanted to pad the game out. It would have been so much easier and so much better if they just let you retry the mission on the spot instead of making you run back. That's not the biggest problem in State of Emergency's Revolution Mode, but it's probably why I never fucking finished it. Got to the end, but after that I just couldn't take anymore. 200 missions? God, no, I can't. I got so far, but I can only handle so much. What makes it even worse is that there are only 4 locations, and 4 locations is plenty for the arcadey style mode, you know? You get to know the places inside out. Where's the best place to blow shit up at? Where's the best place to find which blow-uppables, you know? It's good for an arcade mode. These open but small maps, they're really good for the game's Chaos arcade mode. Real good shit. But these maps, they start to get really fucking tiring during Revolution Mode. It's the same scenery over and over and over. These are incredibly small environments in spite of how open they are, and spending over an hour in one of these environments gets really tiresome, especially when you're doing the same types of mission over and over. The game even knows you do the same types of mission over and over, because if you look in the manual, it explicitly tells you what types of mission to expect. It says there are kill all the guys missions, there are blow up a building missions, and there are 3 different kinds of protect assholes missions. Most of the missions are protect assholes missions. And I personally don't have anything against escort missions in games where the AI is good, or it feels like you're actually protecting people worth protecting, you know, who are intelligent. A great example of this is Gundam Dynasty Warriors. Most of that game was me protecting the AI, but I loved every second of it. It was tense and I had to think strategically. The friendly AI in State of Emergency is fucking stupid, and it's irritating to protect them. They don't have any personality, it's not fun, it's not worth it, it's terrible, I hate it. The game attempts to have something of an ongoing narrative with these missions, but it's just a bunch of text that it's really hard to give a shit about. The game's personality is much more prevalent in its arcade mode, and some band even made a really cool song for this game that plays during the demo. If this game didn't even have the story mode that we're playing right now, it would be a much better game. The game was only $20 on release, and it feels like a Simple Series title, you know, the PlayStation 2 Simple Series on the shit in Japan, released on the PS2. It feels like one of those. Like, if this were called Simple Series The Mayhem, or something like that, that would make a lot more sense. And it could have only included the arcade mode, that would have been great. But no, they had to reach way too far with their incredibly limited mechanics. Playing the story mode is unbearable. When you have intentionally simple, stupid mechanics that are just meant to be fun for the player to cause mayhem, you don't want to stretch those out. You don't want to, because it makes the player feel fatigued. I could play the arcade mode of this game over and over and over, you know, because it's an arcade mode. You just play it a lot and blow up a lot of shit to get a good score. And then you try and play story mode, and it's like a completely fucking different game, because they felt obligated to expand the game length. It's just such a fucking bore to play. And you know, the manual tells you, oh, you're having trouble with a specific story mode mission, try playing it from a different angle. Try approaching it from a different pathway in the level. Try and go somewhere the arrow isn't indicating. And I'm like, fuck you. If I could retry the missions on the spot, if the missions had a checkpoint system of some kind, especially the longer ones, then yeah, sure. I would accept your stupid puzzle-based beat-em-up mission bullshit. But sadly, it doesn't work that way. I have to run all the way back to the guy who gave me the mission, and some of the missions are way too damn long on purpose, so that way you'll fail and have to restart it. So that way they can pretend the game is longer than it is. Even if I beat every mission on its first goddamn go, it would still be too long. You figure, with the fucking 200 missions the story mode has, by the way, they'd actually explore the game mechanics to some degree. Like, they'd make you use the grapple mechanic for something, or make you use the shooting in creative ways, or explore the incredibly limited light and heavy melee combat. But no, they don't even explore the game mechanics in these 200 missions in the way too fucking long story mode. It's just escort missions over and over and over, and sometimes you get better weapons, but not usually, because they want to extend the game length. There are so many potential ways to make this game less shitty. And I believe they had to know that the Revolution mode was just fucking filler. It's just so bad. And you know, I'm really pissed because I want this to be good. The arcade mode, which is called Chaos Mode, by the way, it's really good. Like I said, it's like a beat-em-up, a crazy taxi. It's fucking fun. Where's all that fun in the story mode? Anyway, that's enough. I hate the story mode of State of Emergency. I was able to tolerate it years ago. I can't tolerate it anymore. It has no respect for the player's time. It's too fucking frustrating. I can't take it. I hate it. It's bad. Don't play State of Emergency's story mode. You know, this game had a sequel and people really hated the sequel. It's a third-person shooter, which isn't even remotely related to the original State of Emergency in any way aside from having recurring characters. Like the game, not even a little bit similar. Sequel's just a straight-up third-person shooter with a different tone and everything. But that has to be better than the story mode in the original. It has to be. I'll let you know. Again, to clarify, State of Emergency isn't a piece of shit, its story mode is a piece of shit, and the developers should feel ashamed that it created the story mode.
Please report to security point 7. Your vehicle is being looted.